Hello, welcome to Jason the Millennial. My name is Jason. Speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. Today's video, I'm going to show off some more patriotic two miniseries and a Blu-ray that I bought recently for my birthday, but also bought it because it's July 4th. So happy July 4th to everybody out there. So I want to show some more patriotic stuff that I bought to commemorate this day of our independence. So stay tuned to see what they are here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello, hope everybody's doing well on this July 4th, and hope most of you have the day off. Get together with family, fire some fireworks, have barbecue or whatever, cookout of some kind. It's a great day to do all that stuff. I'm sure there'll be a lot of really loud fireworks late tonight. Unfortunately, I work because I work at the hospital, so I don't get holidays off like everybody else. But luckily, I get paid more to work on holidays, which is fine with me. So I will hear the fireworks, but I'll be inside in the hospital. Generally, I don't do fireworks myself. I've never been a big fireworks person. I don't mind looking at them. They're kind of cool to look at. But I don't know, I've never been big on it really. When I was a kid, we did buy fireworks and I would blow off. I remember black cats. I used to have these black cat things. You throw, bam. Those were pretty fun. Anyways, but yeah, and so yeah, being July 4th, and right now it's kind of late afternoon, early evening period, and I want to show off some patriotic Blu-rays that I bought on my birthday. I don't know, I was feeling very patriotic, like I need more patriotic stuff to watch during this time period, of course, because my birthday is July 1st, so really close to July 4th. So as a kid, I always got fireworks for my birthday and stuff, but yeah, so some stuff I bought I want to show. First I want to show I got the Blu-ray, The Patriot, starring Mel Gibson, who is an American now that I think about it. He's Australian, I believe. And this is an extended cut, I guess. I don't think I've ever seen an extended cut. This came out in like around 2001, 2002, because I remember I was like a senior in high school when this came out, and it was a pretty big movie. I think I saw it maybe a year after it came out. Anyways, yeah, it was a decent movie. I love Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's actually one of my favorite actors out there. Obviously, and a really good director as well. Obviously, has a lot of personal issues that have really hurt him, which I totally understand. And almost been canceled many times, I would say. That's the inside there. Not much except for the Blu-ray there. There's the back. But I mean, actually a pretty good cast. I mean, like I said, Mel Gibson playing the main character. You got Heath Ledger before, I mean, he was famous at this time, but of course before he did The Dark Knight, and got his Oscar. But I always liked Heath Ledger. I always thought he was a really good actor. Also, Jason Isaacs. This is the first time I saw Jason Isaacs in a movie, and man, he was a really good villain. Like, he's one of the horrible villains. I actually hate him in this movie, but he does a really good job here. Chris Cooper is great. I love him. And Tom Wilkinson is always great. I always love seeing Tom Wilkinson. He played one of the main British generals in this. But yeah, it's a cool movie, especially if you're, American and you love watching these kind of American Revolution type stories of our independence. And it's kind of the movie that, follows a personal story of this man who, not to spoil too much, but some British troops, he doesn't want to get involved in the war because he fought in the American Indian War, and he doesn't want his kids, he has sons like Heath Ledger and some other sons, but the British troops come in and kind of disrupt everything, and I think at least one of his sons gets killed or something like that. And so he kind of goes on this, like, almost vengeance thing against the British. He hates the British so much because they killed one of his sons. And so he ends up helping out with the war effort because of that. And yeah, and so it kind of follows him and his story. But also you see a lot of stuff with the American Revolution. Anyways, a lot of battles and stuff. Anyway, so I haven't seen it probably since. It's been 20 years since I've seen the movie, but still, it's like, it's called The Patriot. It's about independence. It's like, as an American, I felt like I needed to get it. Rewatch that and see what I think. But anyways, but yeah, it's that. Now I got two miniseries. One is, and both are patriotic miniseries. One is John Adams. This was a huge one. Again, this came out some time ago. Yeah, and I remember being a huge HBO show, and I'm a big history buff. I love presidential history, so this definitely was right down my alley. I absolutely love this miniseries. I've probably watched it twice in my lifetime. I've gone through because I have HBO Max and I've gone through it before. Anyways, and it was a huge hit. Won tons of Emmys. I know won like best miniseries, whatever. Tom Hooper directed it, and he would go on to direct the King's Speech. So I think this came out in 2009. Yeah, because the King's Speech won Best Picture in 2010 or 2011. I think 2010 it might have, or yeah, somewhere in there. The King's Speech won Best Picture, and so that Tom Hooper won Best Director. So Tom Hooper became a really big Oscar-winning director. And then he did Les Miserables, which is a huge hit. And then I think he did Cats, which was a real bomb. I don't think he's done anything since Cats. I think that might have ruined him. But still is an Oscar-winning director, and a director I actually quite enjoy. But this is really well done. Of course, Paul Giamatti won Best Actor. Laura Linney plays Abigail Adams. Paul Giamatti, of course, plays John Adams. But Laura Linney plays Abigail Adams. She won like Best Actress in miniseries. Tom Wilkinson plays Benjamin Franklin. I mean, such a great, historical figure. And Wilkinson won the Best Supporting Actor in a miniseries, whatever. And he does an absolutely amazing job recreating that. We got Stephen Delane as Thomas Jefferson. Does a really good job there. Stephen Delane, you might know as Stannis Baratheon in the Game of Thrones series. Much different character here. He does a really good job. And of course, a lot of it's about the relationship between John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, who were friends, who then kind of became enemies, and then were friends again before they passed away. So there's just an amazing story between those two that they talk about in this series as well. David Morris plays George Washington, and I believe they both were, Stephen Delane and David Morris were nominated for supporting actors in the miniseries. Both do great jobs in some of the most historical characters or figures that we've ever had. So it was really cool seeing them come to life. So many other great performances in here, but there's some of the major ones I can think of. But yeah, this is really cool. I absolutely love this. I got this kind of Blu-ray set. It's really thick kind of box thing. I love this thing comes off. I kept this on because it has a backing part that I like. Because if you take it off, then there's nothing on the back. It's just the artwork, which is cool. But I do like the information that you get there. But yeah, I absolutely love the artwork here. I love the gold look of it all. It opens up like a book almost. You open the first thing. There's the first part. Love the pictures inside. I love this picture of Paul Giamatti and Lauren Linney. Has all the parts here. There's 7 parts to the whole series. It's based off of a famous book. I mean, John Adams' biography by David McAuliffe, who's a really good historic writer. I don't think I have any of his books. I don't have John Adams. That's a book I need to get at some point. I know it's like a 1,000-page book. It's a pretty long biography, but definitely love to get that and read that, as I love presidential history. But yeah, so it's like that, and then you open up and there's the 3 discs, and yeah, absolutely love this artwork inside the pictures and everything. The disc, yeah, really love this whole packaging. Really awesome. But yeah, it's a really great series. Follows John Adams before, like, coming up to the American Revolutionary War, where he's a lawyer in Boston, and he even defends the troops that were part of the Boston Massacre, which helped kind of bring along a lot of resentment. There's a lot of resentment towards the British anyways at that point, and that was a big deal, the Boston Massacre. And he actually defends the British troops and helps them get off, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, so it kind of covers that, and it covers like when they're having the big meetings of like what to do, and he gets involved with these meetings and these debates, and he's so good that he then gets nominated kind of as a representative of Massachusetts. And of course they would go and have these debates, and you show all the other big names, like I said, Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin be involved, and Alexander Hamilton and Benjamin Rush, John Hancock. I mean, so many historical figures, and they're debating, and the debating is really good. They do a good job of showcasing that. And then, the Declaration of Independence, they talk about that. Of course, the Constitution. And then we get into the war itself, of course. And we kind of go through that, and, George Washington becoming the leader, and Jefferson or Adams is an ambassador to places like England and France and Dutch and stuff like that. So we see him as he goes on these voyages, because during the war he was out trying to convince other countries to help them out with the war effort and all that. So we get to see a lot of that, which is really cool. And then we get the independence part, and then he becomes the first vice president. So we see that process and his frustration with being vice president. You don't really have a lot to do, not a lot for the vice president really, as far as their, what they're constitutionally are mostly they're there to break ties in the Senate. And then we see him become elected second president and see how that went. And then him and Thomas Jefferson kind of have a falling out, as they're two different parties, the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. And we see that all kind of, and then of course he loses the second presidential bid, goes back home and see like his life afterwards anyway. So it's really cool. We get to see this whole process, him before, during, after his political career. And then, yeah, just absolutely really well done, historically accurate portrayal of one of the great founding fathers that we have, John Adams. So I can't highly recommend this series more. And it looks like it has tons of special features on here. So I'm really excited to, once I get into the series, see all the special features on there. The last miniseries I have to show is The Band of Brothers, another HBO miniseries. In fact, I've been watching this lately. Absolutely love this. My favorite miniseries of all time by far, I would say. But I like this. You got the cover here, and you slip out the Blu-ray. There's 10 episodes in total. As you see the disc here. I love the art. There's pictures of the famous, picture of like the brothers standing there. Or I say brothers, it's Easy Company, paratroopers. Which is interesting because paratroopers was a new thing that we hadn't done before. We hadn't had paratroopers before. This is the first time in the war effort that we had people jumping out of airplanes onto land. Anyway, so it was a whole new endeavor, very scary, uncharted. Anyways, but we follow this Easy Company, which I've learned through this Blu-ray that company is about 150. Somewhere around 150 troops in total, which makes up like 2 or 3 platoons and all this. Anyways, all these. So I'm learning a little bit of jargon for military because I'm not a military person, but yeah, it of course covers them as they're. The first episode, they're actually just in training. They're in a boot camp kind of, and we get to learn all the people in the company and platoon and all that, and then we go drop into Normandy, and so we get the whole Normandy invasion through the paratroopers. We usually see it through them, the army coming in off the shores, off the beaches of Normandy. This, we see them Normandy invasion, but from the air, falling through the air, which doesn't go quite as planned as we see. They have to do a lot of, winging it kind of thing to get together. And then we see them go through different battles in towns and stuff. And then we got Bastogne, which is absolutely, really hard to watch kind of series, where 2 episodes where they're during the winter time, where they're in this forest and they're getting bombarded with with bombs and stuff. And it's of course it's a very emotional series. Like, I definitely cry a lot when I watch it, because you're watching these American heroes sacrifice their lives for our independence to fight against the evilness of Nazis. Because this all takes place in Europe. There's another series called The Pacific, which deals with World War II, but deals with Japan, fighting Japan out in the Pacific Islands, like that, which is another good series. I have to get that as well. I like this a little bit better, though. And so we see them, different battles they have to go through, and what it takes, what it took, out of these men. Of course, a lot of them, die through battle, or they PTSD because they see some horrific stuff. So you get to know people, and then your heart gets broken because you have to see a lot of bad stuff happen to them. But absolutely, it's just amazing performances. One of the main guys, Damian Lewis, right here, kind of the main guy who we see him kind of go up the ranks from being a lieutenant to captain in the series, and kind of be in charge of everything. Damian Lewis does an absolutely amazing job. I love his performance here. You might have seen him in Homeland, was another HBO show that he was in. that he did really well in. He's mostly does TV stuff. I know he's in another show called Billions. I haven't seen him in a lot, but man, he's really good here as Captain Winters, Lieutenant/Captain Winters. Ron Livingston's in here as well, plays one of the lieutenants, I believe. But yeah, so many really good actors. Donnie Wahlberg, really good. Like, this is before Blue Bloods, and I think he's really great in Blue Bloods, but he does a really good job here as one of the lieutenants as well. But yeah, so many, and there's so many other actors that come in, like James McAvoy shows up, Simon Pegg shows up, which are British actors. Michael Fassbender shows up in here. Jimmy Fallon even shows up in like one short scene. Yeah, but yeah, a lot of great performances here. Cinematography is just absolutely amazing. I mean, I love the way this shot, and just amazing how they got all these shots of these war scenes, you know. It must be incredibly difficult to shoot, you know. It's like Saving Private Ryan, but for 10 episodes. Just crazy good. But yeah, the writing is great. Storytelling's great. The way everything looks is just, it looks amazing. And the soundtrack is really good. Like, really good emotional soundtrack, music throughout as well. I mean, so everything just goes together to make like this perfect miniseries. Kind of gives you a taste of what it was like to be in World War II and be a paratrooper. As these are real people. This is based off of a famous book by Stephen Ambrose. A book I haven't read, but I need to read because I love this series so much. And it follows, and you get interviews with the real people too in the series that are in the show and that were there. And so that's really cool, and especially because World War II vets are dying out. I mean, I think we still have some left, but there's not too many because they'd be in their late 90s, early 100s. That's how old they would be. So, I mean, not too long, they're going to be gone. We can't talk to them anymore about the stories of this very important event, you know, in American history and world history. So it's good to have this on, you know, record so we can hear them talk in their own words, you know, and get really a sense of what it was like or what happened there in the war anyway. So it's very important, I think, for all Americans, I think, to kind of, you know, see something like this and, you know, get the sense of history. And, you know, we have our freedom because of these people that are willing to, I mean, some of them volunteered, some of them get drafted, but a lot of these people volunteered. It was just a different generation where they volunteered to go to war because they knew it was important for our country. Much different than the Vietnam War. It was much different where people were trying to run away from being drafted. These people wanted to go to war because they knew it was important. And they're just a different bunch. That generation was just really tough, I think, and really patriotic. And I really appreciate that when you watch this series, I think. Anyway, so yeah, can't say enough. I'm watching this right now. A lot of good special features throughout. Definitely really good buy. I'm glad I had this. Definitely, if you haven't watched it, even though it's a hard, very violent at times, you know, war series, is so good, so emotionally satisfying, and you learn a lot as well. So yeah, so that was the stuff I bought and I'm watching. I'll be watching here. Probably take me a little while. A lot to see there, but anyways, yeah. So that's what I got for this July 4th. And yeah, feel free to comment if you've seen these and what you think. I love to read them. And hope you all have a good July 4th, like I said. And just thank you to everybody watching this and liking the video. And thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all and hope you have a good day.